Hello everybody, welcome back to Max Reviews. I'm Braden, and today we're going to be ranking my mom's top 20 favorite movies of all time. I will be ranking my mom's list. She doesn't really have them ranked, but this is of course in celebration of Mother's Day. I asked her to do 10 or 15 and she came up with 20, so we're going to be ranking her top 20 favorite movies of all time. Let's do this. Okay, just to give you the list in general, like my mom's 20 favorite movies of all time, just so you know what they are. We have The Ultimate Gift, The Bourne Identity, The Sound of Music, Spirit, the first one, animated, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and To All the Boys just in general, the trilogy, One Night with a King, The Notebook, The Italian Job, White Christmas, The Greatest Showman, The Case for Christ, The Secrets of Jonathan Sperry, Woodlawn, Secondhand Lions, Mom's Night Out, The Fugitive with Harrison Ford, Fried Green Tomatoes, Pride and Prejudice, the original 1982 Annie, and The Lake House. So we have a pretty big list here, and so just starting the list off, coming in last place here is going to be Case for Christ. This is based off of a book, and it has nothing to do with the book. It's the author, how the author got saved, and I don't really care for the movie as much as I care for the book. I think the book is really sort of like a devotional thing, but the actual movie here doesn't really have anything that distinguishes it from other Christian movies where somebody gets saved at the end and they're doubting and then they figure it out, oh wow, this was right the entire time. So there isn't much here. The cast, really, there's no one in the cast here that I'm like, oh wow, that's a good character. There's a good actor or something. No, nothing there. There's some Christian movies that have, like, they got Sean Astin in a role, but this movie doesn't have that. There isn't anything here, unfortunately, for me. I do not like this movie. I've seen it way too many times, and it just is not a movie for me. 19th place here, we're going to have Annie, the original, and this is another weird one because it's definitely better than the other Annie that came out in the 90s, but I don't like this Annie as much as the new one that came out, like, with Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. So I think this is it's fine, but I just don't care for it at all. It's got some classic songs, classic stuff. This was my mom's first movie that she saw in the theaters, so it might be a bit biased for her, but for me, I don't really have that emotional connection. I've seen it a few times as a kid. That's my only really emotional connection to it. It's fine. It's got the classic songs, the classic Andy, the classic sort of guy that becomes her stepdad, and so just, I don't like it as much as the new one. For me, it's just not my sort of thing. It's cute, it's harmless, but just one of those ones that I don't have the connection to like my mom does. She saw in theaters with her grandmother. I don't have that. I don't have any sort of interest in rewatching anytime soon or anything like that, so unfortunately, I'm just not that into this movie. 18th place here, we have Mom's Night Out. This is got Sean Astin in it, as he's in a few of these movies, actually. Pretty big surprise. But this is sort of Mom's Get Out sort of night with also sort of stuff goes crazy. I think this is one of the most rewatched of these movies here on this list, but me, I'm just I've seen it too many times. The jokes just get off. There's some weird things in here with it's pretty basic and stuff for camera work, but the stuff here, they have one scene in the movie. I don't know if this is just me, but they have one scene in the movie when people look over and it looks like it's this these other people that look exactly like the main characters, but they're not the main characters. It's just so weird, this little scene that's in there. And it's a fun enough movie, like, for first few watches, but I've seen it 5+ times in the past 2 years, so I've grown bored of this movie. And as I've seen it, it's pretty generic. It seems to get crazy, but it really doesn't. It's a fine movie. It's a fun, like, one watch movie for somebody that hasn't seen it. But me, this one just is not for me at the end of the day. Originally, this probably would have come in the top 10, but as time has gone on, I've just been noticing little plot details, little conveniences that sort of cut the movie from being a better film. 17th place is going to be The Secrets of Jonathan Sperry. This is a very surprising one that I'm surprised it made it on my mom's list. This is one of those movies that I don't even know if it came out in theaters, but it's about this guy, and he's helping these 4 boys grow closer with their religious relationship to Christ, and it's one of those movies that it ends in a sad note. The guy dies. It's a solid enough movie. I've seen it quite a few times. I do have a bit of nostalgia for it, but other than that, it doesn't have anything really special to it. It's got a bit of an emotional part to it, but the stuff is just fine. Like, there isn't a super great thing in there. It's a nice sort of summer story. There's another movie that's sort of in the same genre as this. It's Gunther and the Paper Brigade, which I like quite a bit better. But this is just one of those movies that is a bit more forgettable for me, as it's generic in nature, but still has a bit of charm to it. So it's fine. Once again, like, I don't hate these movies down here at the bottom. I don't like Annie or Case for Christ too much, but the rest I don't hate them. They're just not for me at the end of the day. So that's why this is coming in at 17th. 16th place, we have The Lake House. This is a bit more mainstream than the other ones that we've had lower on this list, but I originally hated this movie, but after time, it's sort of grown on me a bit more. The plot, this is the plot. There's this guy in 2004, and there's this mailbox, and this mailbox, he could open it and close it, and it goes to this woman, which is in 2006. And so you have this 2-year gap, and so it's just such an interesting story. And it's like he dies in her arms one time, but she doesn't realize it because she doesn't know what he looks like. It's very, very, very interesting how that works. I just, as a great sort of flow to it. Originally, I didn't like it because I was just bored by it, because it's a lot of just that romantic, him sending a letter, she sending a letter, they're working on a house, they're talking little conveniences here and there. It ends on a really, really good note. And then you have Keanu Reeves here, you have Sandra Bullock, you got two great great actor and a great actress, so you have that great sort of chemistry between them, even though they're not really talking to each other until the end. I could really respect the directorial stuff, how it works, the flow, the writing is really good. But once again, this isn't my sort of movie. I was bored quite a bit of the movie, and it's just, I love the cast. I like the plot. It just doesn't flow as well as I'd like it to. 15th place is going to be Woodlawn, another Christian sports football movie that it also has Sean Astin in it, and I think this is the last one on this list that has him. Yeah, it is. But it's good enough sports movie. I've seen some better football movies, better sports movies in general, but surprised that this made my mom's list. It's a sports movie, and she's not really a sports person for that. She doesn't watch football. She doesn't really care for Rocky or Warrior or anything. When the Game Stands Tall, all those other, Remember the Titans, all those other classic football or baseball movies. But this one, I think it's solid. It's got some racial stuff that's going on because I think it's set in the 90s when that was a big thing. It might be the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there, I think. And it's about a black kid being the quarterback on a football team. I enjoyed it. It's got some cool, a bit better dialogue and stuff going on. I enjoy the characters a bit more. But it's also got that dark sense to it where you have people throwing bricks in their house and trying to set the house on fire when their little brother's in there. So it's got the negatives too, but it's still a solid movie. Like, I enjoy it. It's just one of those that, once again, I've seen way too many times, and as I've seen it, it sort of just wears down on me that this movie is just not as good as I originally thought it was. 14th place, this one is actually pretty solid here. I enjoy this. All these movies up, I enjoy. It's going to be Spirit, the animated DreamWorks movie. I think this was one of their first ones. It's 2D animation. The animation is really well. I love the story here. It's got some weird song choices. There's some Wild West stuff going on here, while also great score. I really enjoyed the score here. It's about a horse. This is the only horse movie that I'll tolerate. There's so many horse movies that I am just, no, I will not do horse movies. I just haven't found a good horse movie in live action. But this is the only good horse movie, and it's great sense of this horse has got spirit. They try to beat him up. They leave him there without food and water for days, and he's got spirit. He's got grit. He's gonna stay there, and this is sort of my sort of movie. And then they did the unthinkable, and they turned it that the horse got tamed by 3 little girls in a sequel to the movie. It's not a 100% direct sequel, but like, seriously, 3 little girls. There's a reason I didn't check this movie out. It just would have gotten me so angry. 13th place, we have One Night with the King. This is actually very well done Christian movie. It came out, I think, early 2000s, and it's about Esther, and she gets to spend one night with the king. And I would like the Christian movies that sort of actually have a genre that they fit into, not just the Christian genre. And this is easily a romance one. The king is looking for a wife. She is just looking to help her people and maybe become the queen. And it's a great romance at the end. I enjoy that they add elements in here that work very well to the plot. It's a fun, not exactly fun, but different movie where they have just some things going on. You have some romances going on. You have the actual look, the feel, the vibe, the costumes that they have on. It just feels like you're transported back to, I don't know when this would be, but sometime before the 80s, in the BCs somewhere. And just back to Bible times, I would say. So just a great movie, great romance at the end. There are some things there that are like, not as amazing. There's some stuff there that's, well, there's a bit of filler, but solid movie. And all these movies are pretty good up here. 12th place, The Sound of Music. I've seen this movie, once again, way too many times, but I still enjoy it. It's a solid movie. It's a classic. My dad is a big fan of, like, Mary Poppins, Sound of Music, Pete's Dragon. And The Sound of Music is that sort of classic musical that I don't think a whole people talk about. I haven't heard anybody really talk about it recently, in the past 5 years, actually. But just the songs are going to be forever stuck in my head. The cast, the look, the feel, the vibe. I enjoy the movie. It's got the nostalgia. I've been watching it for years. Same with Pete's Dragon and Mary Poppins. And although this might be the worst of those three, I still have a great time with it. It's based off of real events. It's about Maria, and she's being taken care of these, I don't know how many, but it's got quite a few kids, and she's got to take care of them. And then the dad is sort of the strict military. She's the free person. And they fall in love. Romance, musical. She takes care of the kids. Solid movie. I really enjoy it. Another classic here coming in 11th place is going to be White Christmas. This is, I think this was on my Christmas list. I don't know where it came, but we watch this every Christmas. And I didn't expect it to come on this list, but for my mom, but I really do enjoy it. It's got great soundtrack once again. I enjoy the cast. I enjoy the dance stuff. It's a bit of a romance. It's got a nice ending to it that I'll remember. And I could tolerate it quite a bit more than The Sound of Music because I've just seen The Sound of Music so many times. And White Christmas still has that sort of newer feel since I've only been watching it for the past 5 years in opposed to Sound of Music, which has been my entire life. So, White Christmas, just a classic Christmas movie. I think it's when you think of white Christmases, this is obviously the title of the movie. It's just a lot of snow. I just really enjoy the movie. It's a very Christmassy movie that I will watch every November, December, maybe even January. But we watch it, and it's a great time. 10th place is going to be The Greatest Showman. This is easily, for me, the best musical that's come out in the 2000s. It's got a great cast with Hugh Jackman, Zendaya, what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. I'm blanking out. Zac Efron. Yeah, Zac Efron. You have just a great cast with those three. You have a great romance that's going on. You have Hugh Jackman's character, who, great job. The songs are the ones that I listen to the most. We just watched this movie, like, if you saw my vlog to New Hampshire, we watched it then in the car, and just so, always watching this movie. It's a fun time. It's one of my sister's favorite movies, which I might do for Father's Day. I'm going to do my dad's favorite movies, and then for Autumn, my sister's name is Autumn, so I'm going to rank her favorite movies. So, going to be a fun time doing that. But The Greatest Showman, really solid musical, has some good stuff in here, and I got the song stuck in my head forever. 9th place, we have To All the Boys, Always and Forever. I'm just including the Always and Forever. This is generally To All the Boys trilogy. The last one actually came out last year, and I checked out the second and the third. I haven't seen the first, but everybody says it's the best. But I'm just going to be doing the third one because that's the one that I've seen most recently. And this is like the best romance series that I've seen possibly ever, because usually with romance movies, they don't come out with sequels. This is the best romance trilogy that I've ever seen. If you have one, just leave it in the comments down below if you can think of another romance trilogy, because I can't think of one right now. And so it's a solid movie. I enjoy where it goes with stuff, how it looks, the feel, the vibe, the colors, the characters. It's got style. I enjoy it. It's a solid movie. It might be a bit higher on this list because I'm surprised at how good it actually was. 8th place here, we have The Italian Job. We have Mark Wahlberg here. It's one of those heist movies. I was hoping that my mom would pick Ocean's 11 because I really enjoy Ocean's 11 quite a bit more than The Italian Job. But she likes The Italian Job more. And another movie that I've only seen a few times, but I have the nostalgia. It was one of those first, I don't even know, PG-13 movies that I ever saw. And so I got that like, wow, we're going to be watching this when I was, I think I was 5 maybe 5 or 6. And I was like, well, we're going to watch a heist movie. And then as I've watched in recent years, it's a fun movie. It's a bit cheesy at times. Sometimes it doesn't make logical sense. But I have a fun time. I have nostalgia for it. You have a great cast here and great villain. This is my sort of heist movie. I like heist movies where you're stealing money from people. So they're stealing money from the guy that stole it from them and then killed this girl's dad. And so I really enjoy it. I think it's got the guy from Scream, where the guy who the guy that's a movie expert, and he's in this. So great cast all around. I have a ton of fun with it. 7th place here is going to be The Notebook. This is another more classic romance movie that in my family, where it's about this old guy telling this story to this old woman in like a home. Well, what would it be? It would be a place where they take care of old people. I'm forgetting. Nursing home, yeah. A nursing home, and he's telling this story about this guy falling in love with this girl and how it all worked out, and goes through the years, and then it ends that she has amnesia and that he's actually telling the old woman, which is his wife, this story. And he's doing it in this notebook, which she wrote to him before she got amnesia. And great movie. For me, I think it might be a bit of a downer in the end. You know, my mom's probably got that nostalgia for it. I don't really. I think it's a solid movie. It's not amazing. It could have been, but it doesn't 100% make it there for me. It's got that great sort of classic feel to it, while also being a bit more modern than you would assume. I think it's from the late 2000s, early 2010s. So yeah, pretty good romance movie. Sixth place, we had The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. This is a movie about he's accused of killing his wife, and he's got to figure out who actually killed it while he's on the run. I've only actually seen this movie once, and it wasn't too recently, so I'm just ranking this off of what I remember, and I think, yeah, it's a pretty good action. Harrison Ford is great in the lead. Villain is pretty solid. It's a good movie. I enjoy these sort of trying to figure out what's going on, and it might be a bit generic in nature, but it's a solid movie. This is my sort of genre of action, and it's a lot of people enjoy it. I do. Originally, I had it a bit lower on this list, but the more I think about it, the more it sort of rises up. I don't know when this came out. It might have been the late 90s, early 2000s, but whenever it came out, I enjoy this movie quite a bit. Fifth place here is going to be The Ultimate Gift. This is one of those tearjerker movies that I really enjoy. It's got so many emotional beats going on throughout the entire movie. You have this guy who's he's sort of the guy who walks up in the limo and then just loud music blaring, comes to a funeral wearing like a leather jacket sort of a thing. And then his dad had died. Well, his grandfather. I think it was his grandfather died. And his grandfather dies, and he leaves him behind these video recordings and about what he wants him to do so he could get the ultimate gift. And he's like, make a friend or go without money. He gets his guys to steal all this, our main character's stuff, so he's stuck on the streets, and he's got to come back and make some money. And so just really great movie. He makes a friend with this girl the girl's a great child actress. I've seen her in quite a few films, and she's great. I love this movie so much. It's really emotional. We're getting to those movies that I really enjoyed. All these top 5 are solid, like 4 to 5 star movies for me. This is probably a 4-star, 4.5, but really, really emotional movie. How it ends, how this guy grows a giant character arc, and it makes logistical sense from what he's been through. They made a sequel, The Ultimate Life, and it was actually horrible, but this movie is so good. Fourth place, we have Fried Green Tomatoes. This is, once again, sort of like The Notebook. This old lady is telling this younger woman about these two girls who sort of made this fried green tomatoes store, and they had how one of them, their son, had his arm run over by a train, and then how one guy got killed by a train, and how they had to murder this guy, and just this sort of conspiracy and lawyer stuff going on. And then it's revealed that the old woman was one of those characters. Originally, I think I might have had it once again higher, like The Fugitive, but when I think about it, it sort of goes for a downer at the end, and then it sort of picks it up. But I, once again, really enjoy it. For a movie that's not exactly targeted for me, I have a ton of fun with it, where they kill this guy, and then they legitimately barbecue him and feed him to the police officer that's come there that's looking for him. And just, it's a fun movie, while also being emotional, while also having great sort of comedic timing and little things, well, not comedic timing, but little jokes inside it, and also being a great drama, emotion. It balances so many things in such a good way. Before we get into the top 3, just remember, this is sort of my list of my mom's top 20. This is not how she would rank them. She told me that so many times. Her top 3, my top 3 is definitely not going to be her top 3. I don't know how you would do this in the comments down below. Like, if you've seen any of these movies, rank them if you want, or just your opinions on some of these. So, leave those down below. And coming in third place here is going to be Pride and Prejudice. And I would give this is a 10 out of 10 movie. And I would say this is the best just straight romance movie. No time loop, no sort of romance comedy. No, this is the straight romance movie that is my favorite. And originally, once again, like what did I say? Once again, like The Lake House, I thought it was boring. But I first saw it when I was 6 and I was like, "Whoa, this is way too long. I don't like this." And then as time has gone on, I really noticed what a good romance story this is, what a good cast this is, the characters, the look, the vibe, the feel. I really enjoy it. This is the movie that sort of moved up on this list the more I think about it. And originally I was going to have it in second place, if not first, because it's such a well done movie. But for me, the other ones have a bit more nostalgia, emotional value to me. But this movie is so good. This is, for me, as I said, best straight romance movie. Second place, we have Secondhand Lions. This is a movie that I grew up watching, and the more I watch it, the more I like it. It's about this kid who goes to his two uncles' house. So basically, he's just going there because his mom's ditching him there because she's going to go find a guy, maybe get married. We'll see, because she needs money. And then he's stuck with his two uncles, who are the guys that, there's so many funny things here. They sit on their porch waiting for people to come up for advertisements. This was, I think, in the 80s, 70s. I don't know when this was happening. And then they'll shoot their shotguns at the guy to freak him out. And it's just such a great movie for me. They're telling stories, and the stories do get a bit goofy for me, but it has that emotion, it has that nostalgia. It's a movie that is one of the best balancers of, it could make me laugh so many times, and it has made me cry so many times. It's a great, solid movie. I love it so much. It probably could have come in first place if I had done a rewatch of these movies and everything, but I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't really know how I'd feel about it. I haven't seen it in the past couple years, but it's still such a good movie. The uncles are crazy. They build an airplane and then crash it into the barn. They get a lion as a pet to shoot. It's a crazy, fun movie that I just really enjoy and has a great emotional value to me. But easily coming in first, well, not easily, but just squeaking out Secondhand Lions is going to be the Bourne Identity. I'm an action movie fan. My mom does like a certain few action movies. She's not a sci-fi fan, not a giant explosions fan, but she likes like real life action movies, and Bourne movies are her favorite. She picked the Bourne Identity as her favorite, but this is just containing the entire sort of trilogy of Bourne movies. Mine is The Supremacy, is easily my favorite, but this is just solid action movie. Matt Damon is great in the lead as trying to figure out what's going on. The action is so well done. I really enjoyed this movie. Supremacy is my favorite, but this one still sort of has that nostalgia. This is one of the first big action franchises that I checked out. Well, trilogies. So I just really enjoy the Bourne movies. They don't really have the emotional value or the comedic value, but they're just great action movies. So it comes in first for me. Leave your comments down below. Maybe your ranking of these 20 movies. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. This probably isn't going to come out on Mother's Day because I am recording this on Mother's Day. Probably should come out on Monday, so we'll see. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm Braden. This is Max Reviews. Like, subscribe to Max Reviews if you want to get more of this content. Braden out.